The Giants only have 5 games left in the season, and I can guarantee you not one of these games is considered meaningless for a guy like Kayvon Thibodeaux, who's going to be eligible for a contract extension for the first time in his career at the end of the season. So let's talk business with our NFL reporter for the Post, Ryan Dunleavy. Ryan, what's going on, my man? At 2-10, we all know Joe Schoen in the front office is, one, looking for a quarterback to draft for the future, and two, they're identifying and trying to retain potential core pieces for the future as well. So before we get into this thing, can you kind of break down Kayvon's contract situation and what options or leverage both he and the Giants have?
Yeah, I'm sure Kayvon wishes he was up for a contract extension after last year, where he had 11 and a half sacks. But players aren't eligible till after their third season. This is the end of his third season, and it's kind of been a wash like it's been for most of the Giants. 2 sacks. He missed 5 games during the season after wrist surgery, but he's got a 5 game window here to really show who he could be. There's questions. Is he a great player? Is he a good player? Is he a double-digit sack guy? A strong finish here would be a nice buzz for him going into the offseason to show that he can be that kind of dominant pass rusher. And the Giants will have to pick up his 5th-year option sometime before May, and that's really when negotiations with that kind of player start to kick into gear.
All right, I know you do your due diligence. You spoke to people from around the league. So after talking to people, do you think that Joe Schoen is going to try and get something done early, or let him kind of just test the market?
Well, Joe Schoen got an Andrew Thomas extension done after 3 years. So, he is willing to do it. But we're skipping ahead. Let's make sure, is Joe Schoen going to be the one deciding this? Joe Schoen's got to keep his job first at the end. And a strong finish by Kayvon, maybe some wins could help him. If Joe Schoen is the one making those decisions, and I'd say that's probably 50-50, maybe slightly better at this point, then yeah, I think there's a chance because he's going to want to double down. Look, Joe Schoen's first 2 drafts are not looking very good, especially at the high ends. Evan Neal's a total bust. That was the 7th pick in 2022. Wan'Dale Robinson, Cordell Flott, Josh Ezeudu, Jalen Hyatt, John Michael Schmitz. None of them are performing up to their draft status. Those are his premier day 1 and day 2 picks. So would he want to double down on Kayvon as, look, I nailed this pick? Yeah, I think if he's still in charge, that would be some of his motivation.
All right, so let's say that Joe Schoen and the Giants do pick up the 5th-year option on the contract. Where's that going to leave K5 and the franchise as well?
So next year will be his 4th year, which is when you have to decide on a 5th-year option nowadays before the 4th year starts. So that would put him under contract for 2026. I don't know this. This is Ryan Dunleavy talking, Brandon, but from my interactions with Kayvon, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's going to love playing on a 5th-year option the way Saquon Barkley sucked it up and did it, or the way some guys have in the past. Evan Ingram sucked it up and did it. I would think he's a very business-savvy individual, and he knows he's risking his body every week. So I would think that if he plays well in his 4th season next year, he's going to want a big contract. And really, honestly, the Giants would be set up to give it to him if he performs to that level, even though they have Brian Burns under a huge contract, even though they have Dexter Lawrence under a huge contract. At that point, they should theoretically have a rookie quarterback contract, which is very salary cap friendly. So in that regard, you could pay all 3 defensive pass rushers if that's what you want to do. It's a point made to me by Joel Corey over at CBS, a former NFL agent who's one of the best contract analysts out there. I talked to him for the story that you're mentioning that I wrote on the Post website. He brought up that point, and I think it's a good one.
All right, so we're going to go to you, not Hard Knocks, for all things Kayvon Thibodeaux in terms of the contract, man. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Brandon.